accurate answer. That there is a good chance this owner, if he was still around, would fire Aaron Boone. And remember, we talk about George as if we wish he was still around, and he would be doing these things. So you say bad idea, right?
Horrible idea. There are 22 games over 500.
I'm just asking the question.
Best record in the American League still, right?
Shaun Morash, second best Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, that's right.
Shaun Morash.
Hi, Ev.
Would you fire Aaron Boone today?
I would not. But the caveat also would be we'd be on our third manager since hiring Aaron Boone.
That is true. I think you are right that would be one of the things, and at least around these parts, maybe some of our listeners disagree, 888-808-1019, the answer would not be to fire Aaron Boone. Now, maybe some people will call up and say, we should. That's the spark for this team. Screw Aaron Boone. Maybe you think that's the answer. Okay, that's one thing George would do. What else? Would he DFA somebody?
Yeah. DJ would be gone.
DJ LeMahieu would be sent. You are not wearing the pinstripes properly.
Yes.
You're a loser. Get out of here.
Yes.
You show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser.
What?
That's George Steinbrenner, yeah. You like that one?
That is a good one. It's kind of Yogi-esque.
That's right. We're gonna mix in some George clips throughout the day. So DFA DJ LeMahieu seems like a logical thing that George Steinbrenner would do, right. Even though DJ had the base hit in the second inning yesterday, had a very quiet game. Remember, he made that ugly error 2 days earlier against Francisco Lindor, and DJ looks like a statue. So I ask you, Tiki, because I think that's a very possible what would George do. Do you think the Yankees should DFA DJ LeMahieu?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Okay.
That's a tough one.
But you're getting close.
Very. I get the sense that it's over, that it's not coming back. And I know that we have these examples. You can just look across town with the Mets, guys who are underperforming and are finally playing up to snuff. And we can say that about DJ. I just don't feel like it's coming back. I don't know why. I wish I was wrong, but I don't think it's coming back.
I think it's fair to have that skepticism, but I would strongly push back on the idea of DFAing him. I think that would be foolish. I think that sometimes we want blood to make ourselves feel better, and it actually doesn't fix the problem.
Only foolish because there's not an option to replace him? Or is foolish because he's going to be good again?
Two reasons. Number one, yes, there is not an easy fix, but also I'm not ready to give up on him. I'm not ready to say, with years left on his contract, hey, he's just done, that's it, I'm going to DFA him. But you are right to say that's another one of those kind of mysterious, what would George do?
Makes you think about it. George would DFA him.
And I disagree. Would you DFA DJ LeMahieu?
No, I would not, but I would look to upgrade DFA. I think we've missed, by the way, the DFA boat. Gleyber Torres, if George is alive, is never wearing a Yankee uniform again.
But perfect. That's number three. Right. That's the third option. Right. Gleyber Torres would be public enemy number one to not just Yankee fans, but to George himself. He would have seen the lack of hustle the other night, and he would have been a lot different than Aaron Boone. He would have cut him. So, Yankee fans, I know you've had this weird relationship with Gleyber Torres. There was a long time ago when you guys acquired him from the Chicago Cubs, and you couldn't believe how young he was, and you couldn't believe how good he was. He has not lived up to the hype of what you expected. He has had a terrible contract year. We all agree. Would you DFA Gleyber Torres? Let's go with that one.
Trade him for a bag of corn.
You just get rid of him. Doesn't matter what you get.
Right.
You'd send him to the Mets for Jeff McNeil.
Yeah. Probably not Jeff McNeil.
Well, that's more than I think we'd get for him.
I actually disagree with you on that. I think you would get Jeff McNeil for Gleyber Torres simply because of the contracts. So you would get rid of Gleyber Torres. That is your what would George do moment. Just trade him. I don't even care what I get back.
Yep. And if you weren't finding a trade partner, he would continue to sit on that bench and not see the field again until we figured that out.
Okay. Those are three very possible what would George do options. The fourth option that you're missing is a missive. He would write a very angry letter that we would all read on WFAN saying this is unacceptable, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, changes are going to be made. Do you think, and you are a modern athlete, more so than even when George was doing that, actually it was pretty much the same era, maybe a little bit after with you, would that make a difference?
No. It would make more of a difference if it was a closed to media meeting like that. And he said exactly what you're saying. But didn't yell and scream. It's more impactful when you say it softly.
Yes.
Because Wellington Mara did that to us.
Speak softly, carry a big stick, right?
In 2003. Wellington did that to us.
How do you do it?
At a team meeting. All the coaches were out. Okay. It was just him and us.
And how do you say it?
Very softly.
You guys better pick
There's
this
an
up.
expectation to being a New York Giant. And it was like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. When your dad is not screaming, you're in trouble.
That is true. No, you're right about that. Option number 4. This is a good one. This is the one that Yankee fans have been dreaming about for years. In the middle of the season, on June 27th, George Steinbrenner would publicly announce the firing of Brian Cashman.
They were pretty good.
Would you want to do that? Would that make you happy, Yankee fans, in the midst of this bad losing streak?
Would George do it? Yeah. Would I? No. Because I think Brian Cashman's good at his job. And the only way you're going to correct this is not by bringing someone else from somewhere unknown, but letting Brian Cashman figure this out.
Yes. How about you, Shaun? Would you fire Brian Cashman right now? Would that be your what would George do moment?
Right now, no. Ask me again on whatever that date is, July 30th, 31st.
You're not firing a general manager in the middle of the season.
After the trade deadline?
Fire him at, so do your work.
No.
We'll determine whether or not you did it well.
You know what? Yes. If you fail at upgrading this team the way you should upgrade this team, then yes. Because right now, there are 2 sentences that need to be shouted from the rooftops outside Yankee Stadium or in Tampa, wherever Hal can hear them. The Mets are our daddy. Go get Vladdy.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming. The Mets. So your what would George Steinbrenner do moment is to call up your division rival and acquire a guy who said, I will never play for the New York Yankees. Am I got that right?
I work for the Knicks.
You damn right I would. You damn right I would. Spencer Jones, you're never wearing a Yankee uniform. Get your passport ready. Head up to Toronto.
So your answer... And again, context matters right now. The New York Yankees have the 2nd best record in the American League. That's a fact. You guys may not like to hear that because they're struggling right now. Those are the facts of where they are. The New York Yankees are in 1st place in the American League East. The New York Yankees, a little bit past the halfway point of this season, is on pace to win over 100 games. They're 52-30. Okay, that's where they are. I know they're not playing well. I'm not an idiot. We all know that. We all saw it. The Mets certainly saw it. We all know what's going on. But they are 52-30. They are a game ahead of the Orioles in the AL East. They are amongst the best records in Major League Baseball. And your answer, not fire the manager. I agree with you. Not DFA DJ LeMahieu. I'm with you. Your answer is to trade for a superstar slugger that may be available in Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yep. Do not let what happened with Seattle, where they got Luis Castillo a week ahead of the deadline, make them an offer that they feel like can only decrease in value before the deadline. Don't fool around. You cannot hit. The Mets are our daddy. Go get Vladdy.
That's what he came up with.
That's an interesting one, though.
All night last night thinking about that.
That's an interesting one. Did you hear somebody saying that outside of the ballpark last night?
No, I didn't.
That was all you? You racked your brain about what the Yankees could do. Was this angry thinking, or was this kind of resigned thinking?
It's annoyed that I had to stick my tail between my legs and walk out of that stadium 2 straight days and throw in Friday night versus Atlanta and watch this team not hit. I'm sorry. He is the most viable bat that could be available. Act like the Yankees.
It's not the answer. It's not the answer. And the Yankees will be aggressive at the trade deadline. We still have about 3 weeks before things get really heated around there.
Yes. Aaron Boone told us with his smile, even though there was a non-answer. It feels like they need to do something.
They will. No, and I think every Yankee fan, as negative as you may be right now, know they're going to do something. I am going to respectfully tell you, Shaun, and every Yankee fan listening, that I think you have the wrong plan. Okay? Because right now, let's diagnose the Yankees' biggest issue. To me, it's the lineup. I get their bullpen hasn't been good. I get they've given up 1 million runs lately, especially in this series against the Mets. But would we not agree, especially moving forward, this lineup features 2 all-timers and a good little player in Anthony Volpe and not much else.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. At least no one that's reliable right now. No one that you could count on. If you were doing a New York all-star team, so Mets and Yankees, the only 2 players, Volpe's interesting, but the only 2 players that you would take from the Yankees are Soto and Judge.
Right.
Right? Volpe maybe he'd go to second.
Yeah, he'd be the second base.
He'd go to second base. He's not starting over Francisco Lindor at shortstop. But the only 2 that you could definitively say are better than the Mets' current exact position are Soto and Judge.
So I think you're right, and I think the way to fix that is not to acquire a 3rd monster. And that's Shaun's idea, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Yankee fans, especially with the news over the last 48 hours that Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who did swear off the New York Yankees, made a comment in Espanol, which me and my wife were analyzing, in which he said, look, if I was traded to the New York Yankees, I'm a professional. And he seemed to walk back slightly the idea that he would not play for the Yankees, which, by the way, I think he always said in the heat of the moment and the emotion of the rivalry.
Of course.
And I respect the hell out of that.
Of course. But 36 wins sucks.
Yes.
That's what he's saying.
But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and that kind of player is not the answer. Because let me walk you through this world.
So who's the answer?
I'm going to tell you. Oh, I have an answer. Listen, I don't come without answers.
Okay.
But I first want to explain why Vlad isn't the answer, and then, yes, I'll give you answers. If the Yankees took their farm system and called up the Blue Jays and they paid the AL East tax and they acquired Vladimir Guerrero Jr., man, you'd have 3 beasts in your lineup and maybe 4 when Giancarlo comes back. But you would still be facing the same questions we're facing today. Questions about Gleyber Torres, questions about DJ LeMahieu, questions about the offense behind the plate. Lots of questions. The answer is the 2021 Atlanta Braves. You guys remember the 2021 Atlanta Braves?
Yeah.
I'll walk you through a little bit of it. They had some really good players on that team. Freddie Freeman was a great player. Ozzie Albies was a great player. Ronald Acuna Jr. was out for the season. The Atlanta Braves at the trade deadline traded for 1, 2, 3, 4 nice little bit pieces. And every single one of those bit pieces, and I'll name the names in case anybody forgot.
Yeah.
Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, just to name a few, Jock Peterson. They performed. They weren't household names. They weren't sexy, but they filled holes. And that's the kind of aggressiveness Brian Cashman's going to have.
Okay, so
it's not a superstar. It's Ryan McMahon.
So so McMahon
I
is
just
one.
gave you one.
You talked about those guys, but you've talked about him before, I should say. But
because he makes a lot of sense.
But you also have to have those guys, teams willing to move them.
Well, they're out of it. I picked a team that's out of it. I didn't go to a team that's sort of in the middle.
What are there? 2 of those? 3 of those?
That's it, Tiki. 2021, there was not 6 teams in each league making the playoffs.
Yes.
Which makes you don't have an opportunity to add 3, 4 guys.
No, you can. Because I'm not done. The problem is these names aren't household names, so they're not exciting. I call up the Angels. I ask about Luis Rengifo. I talk about guys who can fill these roles that, as of right now, guys aren't performing. And a part of the problem with Gleyber Torres and DJ LeMahieu is you don't have options to replace them. The Yankees' only course of action is to run them out every day. That's the course of action.
Yeah, and hope that it gets better.
And maybe it does, by the way. So what the Yankees are going to have to do, I'll give you another name. You want name? I'm giving you names. I'm going to the Angels because they suck. I'm not picking good teams because why would good teams trade good players? Kevin Pillar. These names may not excite you, but those are the kinds of additions Cash is going to have to add because right now, DJ LeMahieu and Gleyber Torres, those are kind of the 2 poster boys. They're sink or swim players. They have to play every day. And so, for now, you're going to run them out there every day, and you're going to hope, hate to use this phrase, Met fans, because you heard it a lot, they're going to have to get to the back of their baseball card. But if they don't, Brian Cashman needs to be armed and ready to acquire those kinds of names, not a superstar.
And they're not expensive.
No.
It's doable, is why you're saying this. These are doable acquisitions for the Yankees, and not ones that are going to cost you some part of your future, whatever you believe that future may be.
Why do you think the Mets lineup is so good right now?
First of all, the young players are playing way above where I think you could have. Well, maybe not Alvarez because he showed it last year, but Vientos for sure. He's playing way above where anybody expected him to be. I mean, all we heard is he's not as good as Brett Beatty. There's no spot for him on a major league roster right now. He's just trade bait. Now, he gets his opportunity, and they're very rarely perfect opportunities, but when they come, be ready for it. He was ready for it, and he's raking right now. In fact, he's getting compared to Giancarlo Stanton. For some reason, I don't see it other than the fact that they're Latin. And so, I think the young players are playing great, and the stars are playing where they're supposed to.
Yeah, and I think you're right about what you said. I think the Mets are very deep, and the Yankees aren't. The Yankees have 2 all-time.
But they should be.
Right, but they should be. But Shaun's idea is go get me another star, so now I've got 3 monsters and nothing else.
Well, we were cooking with Giancarlo, so I don't care.
Look, they miss Giancarlo. We all know that, and Giancarlo coming back, hopefully he does, will improve this lineup. But it's more, you need the bottom of this lineup to perform. And for now, for the next 3 weeks, it's run them out there every day. It's hope that they can get hot. And then if not, the kind of trade deadline we're going to have to see is Atlanta 2021. It's not stargazing for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Evan.
It's the names of guys that you can add to this roster so that you've got more options than sinking or swimming with DJ LeMahieu and Gleyber Torres.
So you're not wrong fundamentally, but here's the problem, and it goes back to what Tiki's been saying, what I've been saying. Because there's so much of a lack of teams that are going to be willing to trade, a guy like Ryan McMahon will be valuable, and a team like the Rockies should hold out and see what's going to go on. There is a chance if you don't act and don't act quick enough and you let this thing get to the deadline, the Yankees miss out on Ryan McMahon anyway because they come in and the Rockies figure it out and you get fleeced in the 12th hour. I want the Yankees to swing for a big fish now where they tell a team, we're going to give you what nobody could top and let's get this done now. I don't want to twiddle our thumbs and you sit there and you go, wait, we didn't end up getting McMahon because 15 teams were in on him and we couldn't overpay the right way.
You need to be aggressive. You need to get guys that can improve this roster. And there are going to be a bunch. I gave you 4 names, and you can write them down and keep them because they'd all make this Yankee lineup better. But right now, George Steinbrenner being here and doing something crazy, like we said, option 1, fire Aaron Boone. Option number 2, DFA DJ LeMahieu. Option number 3, cut Gleyber Torres and trade him for a bag of balls. Option number 4, trade Brian Cashman. And even option number 5, he did that before. Just trade for the shiniest object I can find. And in your case, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Those aren't the answers. Those aren't the answers that are going to fix this team. The answers for the next few weeks is run your guys out there and then add good little pieces at the deadline that can make this lineup deeper. That's what they've got to do. And look, here's the other thing we got to figure out. They're 52-30. And I know people are sick of hearing about that, but we have decided to judge 13 games more than the entirety of 82.
No, you're right. And people are upset. Like I don't know what the Yankee fan truly feels. So let us know. But I feel like as not as intense, I'll use the word, Yankee fan as Shaun is, I'm not upset. I'm not mad. It's more like sadness. Like, God, I feel bad that this team isn't better on a daily basis over the last month. And so they're still right in line to make the postseason. They got to lose 20-something games to get close to where the Mets are right now. But it feels like the sky is falling, as we talked about yesterday. So it's not anger. It's more like depression more than anything. Because they're just not good.
Well, and also, whether you want to admit it today or not, it is not fun to get your ass kicked by a New York rival.
Right.
And I'd be the first to raise my hand and tell you it's not fun. The games may count the same, and Aaron Boone and Aaron Judge said all the right things after the game. It's any other game. It stinks to lose to anybody. As fans, it does feel different. I admit this morning, or this afternoon now. Do I feel a little better today because the Mets just opened up a giant can of whoop-ass on the New York Yankees? I do.
Let's go, Mets!
I feel better about it. Do I feel better that last night up until midnight in New York City, I was sitting at Citi Field with a bunch of drunkards dressed as Grimace? Yes! It was a wonderful day. And vice versa. Your anger is contributed by the fact that the little Mets whipped that ass. Right. But the question you have to face, and we'll get your calls next at 888-808-1019, is what do you want to do about it? Do you want to George this thing by firing the manager because you think that fixes it? Is it DFAing a player? Is it making a big trade? Or is it staying the course? What do you want to do about it? We've given you our thoughts. We'll get your thoughts coming up, 888-808-1019. There will be time for the Met fans to celebrate the victorious Subway Series. And was Aaron Judge ticked off at Aaron Boone? We'll go deep on it and try to figure it out.